he should have really told her so she could have an opportunity to be with someone else. I don't know why she decided to leave, but she
Hello,
did.
hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. So happy to have you with us. So happy to be here. And I'm so excited.
We're going to be talking all things
Bachelor in Paradise. You think I forgot, but I haven't. And I'm here, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this conversation. So, this new season, there's been lots going on. We've had so many ups and downs this season. So, this is going to be part one of the review because I want to make sure that everyone gets up to date and up to speed. And you know how we do things over here on this channel. We really analyze everything for the most part, everything that happens, and we kind of take some application to life, real life relationships, and so on and so forth. But we just have fun. That's what this channel's about. If you look at the channel, you'll see so many different exciting videos. There's always something to look at, even if you look at some of our past, uh, some of the most popular videos we have over here. It just goes on and on. There's something for everyone. So let's try to really grow this subscriber base and really know that I've been doing this for a little bit and it's because I enjoy it, right? So we really appreciate you listening, watching, subscribing. So let's get into what we really came to talk about. That's Brandon. No, I'm just playing. That's Bachelor in Paradise. So let's go and get into it. It's been a lot going on. There's been so much happening this season, and it's just, ugh, what can we say, right? Where do we start? Well, for one thing, we've really enjoyed looking at the budding romance, or really the explosive romance of Serena and, not Serena, who am I talking about? Sorry, Serene. My bad. No, Serene and Brandon, they've really hit it off. I was pretty surprised because when I was thinking about previous seasons of, and then if you remember, I covered, let's just look at some of this. If you remember some of the videos that I covered, it was this one. I think I got some flack for this one. This was my final thoughts about Michelle. And you can go to the playlist and see what we were talking about. But with Michelle, I think it was this last, we didn't really do too many, we didn't cover it too extensively, but I did get some flack for that. And I think it was because everyone loves Michelle. You know, everyone wants her to be happy. And so do I. But we just have to remember not it just doesn't always happen the way we expect. And Brandon was a big part of that season. He was a big part of that season. He was um, a part of that season up into the final two, and it just didn't work out for them. Brandon was my pick, and the reason why he was my pick was because I felt like he knew what he wanted, and he wanted Michelle, but she wound up choosing someone who she was unsure about. And those were her words. She was kind of, I'm paraphrasing here, but she was kind of unsure how he felt about her, but she really did like him. And anyway, look at that last video that I was talking about that got me a lot of flack. But at the end of the day, Brandon right here, he let's put him on the big screen. He is what we're talking about. He and Serene really hit it off. For those who need a reminder, this is how Serene looks. And it was all about Brandon and Serene, some of these first episodes. The people wanted that happy ending for Brandon, and it looks like he's gotten it. We'll see what happens. So right in the initial episode, Brandon and Serene hit it off. Um, there was one, I don't even remember who this was. I have to go look, but there was one situation where Haley was kind of hating on Lace behind her back. Teddy and Andrew hit it off. For those who need a refresher of who um, Teddy is and Andrew, I will show you. We'll actually just pull up some of these cast members pictures right here so you can see, and then that way it'll just be easy for me to kind of maneuver there because we'll all be wondering who they are. So let's let me go this way and show you for all. That's Teddy right here. So Teddy and Andrew, and this is Andrew. um, actually, it's better from this screen. Teddy and Andrew, thank you. This is Andrew, and this is Teddy. If you can see, Andrew, Teddy. So they they hit it off. They were seemingly got along. Um, but later we'll see things took a little bit of a turn for worse. Jill and all the girls, before Shanae, if you remember Shanae, before she even before she even came there, they were already kind of gun ho about talking about her. She was someone from Clayton season that didn't really rub everybody the right way. So they were quick to assume she was kind of going to be bringing the same sort of energy to this season of Bachelor in Paradise. So Jill, Jill, let's look at who Jill is for all you who need a flashback. Um, not who am I talking about? Jill. No, I'm sorry, Genevieve. Genevieve was one of the girls who didn't, really go with Shanae. But Jill, she, for some reason, I don't know, she started kind of getting on her as well. So I did see a lot of collective hating. Uh, Even before Shanae got there, the only people who I really didn't hear a lot of that from was Sierra and Serene. Um, and I didn't really see, I said, yeah, Serene and Sierra say really anything bad about Shanae. And for those who don't remember, that's how Sierra looked. We'll talk more about her story as well. Um, One of the other things that happened that we didn't really see, I thought it was kind of weird, is that Sally, whom you see uh, right here, she is someone who didn't ever appear in. Am I blocking her? Let me see if I can move out the way. She's someone who didn't really ever appear in Clayton season. This is Sally right here. But she had a lot of history to follow her. She just got over a bad breakup. She was kind of in one of these situations. And I think what transpired is that she kind of started impacting the girls a bit. or I should say ladies, they became a little insecure about the idea of her coming in on this scenario. And so, with that being said, Jill, Lace, and Genevieve, if you all remember Lace, I think I have a picture. Let's see if we can find a picture of Lace. I watched Lace's season of Bachelor in Paradise. Now, I don't know if I actually covered it on the channel. I may have actually. I just have to remember where she when she was on it. But here's Lace. So Lace, Genevieve, and Jill, they actually go through Sally's stuff. I thought that was so disrespectful, actually. I didn't understand what the point of that was for them to do that. I felt like it's not really necessary. Um, it's one of those things where you're kind of like, okay, yeah. So, Shanae and Logan, let's get back to Shanae. Shanae and Logan, if you remember how Shanae looks, this is Shanae. Shanae and Logan. Logan, Shanae was kind of like a hot commodity on the beach. I mean, she got a lot of dates. Shanae right here. Logan and her kind of started their romance a little early on. They really did. They um, really seemed to like each other and really hit it off. So they had a date, and Haley, I have to remind myself how Haley looks because, and maybe you need a reminder too. Let's look for Haley because here's Haley, right? So that was a little bit awkward. She's kind of awkward with them. All right, let's get into some really interesting things, okay? The interesting things I want to get into are the situation with Teddy and Andrew. All right, so Teddy basically came there for Andrew. All right, if you need a reminder of how Teddy looks, I already showed you. This is Teddy and this is Andrew. Okay, I hope I'm not blocking. So let's switch the, yeah. So this is Teddy right here. Let me make sure I'm over here so you can see it. You see them on the screen, Teddy and Andrew. So there was a lot of kind of like it was kind of sad because you know Teddy came there for Andrew. It was one of those things you really thought that they were going to work out. They hit it off so well, but then she just felt like it wasn't really going as well as she thought. And you know what? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't going as well as she thought. Maybe it was getting kind of dramatic. Um, and because of that, I, in her mind, dramatic in her mind, meaning she was overthinking it. She was like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really excited the way I should be about him. This is not really working for me. And she just altogether takes herself out of the running, which I think I'm like wondering to myself, why are these women doing this? Here's your opportunity to find love. Why do you have to take yourself out of running and to finding love just because you don't hit it off with one guy? Even if you had this preconceived notion that this was going to be the guy for you, what's the point of coming on this show if you're really just not going to give it your all? And my thing is, even if you try and fail, you have to keep going. And I think there are a few people in this season who are like that. But unfortunately, Teddy cut her chances short. I felt like in that moment, Andrew tried to make it seem like he wasn't really feeling it as much either. But I all think that we kind of knew what it was. Roddy, who goes in with a day card but never invites anyone because Teddy's gone, he really actually wanted to go with her. And for those who need a recollection of Rodney and what Rodney looks like, this is Rodney. So Rodney really wanted to go with Teddy on this date, and when she was gone, it just didn't work out. So actually, this is an interesting point because when we fast forward, um, Key was the one he was going to take. Maybe I guess if Eliza was there, maybe he would have taken her. But Teddy was the one he was going to take initially on this date. So Lace takes advantage of this opening, and she just goes full in with Rodney. She really takes advantage of it by making sure that Rodney knows that she's into him and that she really wants to pair up. So they pretty much start to do so, and they pair up by the next episode. So Shanae and Genevieve go on double dates with James and Aaron. So they're like the bros of the season. Well, unfortunately, Aaron continues on, but you do see that James didn't stay on there. Um, they think it's going to be, dramatic, but everything goes well between Genevieve and Shanae. They actually really get along, and I think Genevieve even apologized to Shanae for how she treated her in the previous seasons, when she was on the season with Clayton. So I thought that was interesting that they kind of started out their new relationship on a good note. So that's good. Um, they actually got along. Now, with all this going on in the background, Wells, who is the bartender, he was there on previous seasons. Um, he starts talking about Ashley and the story between Ashley. This is Wells, the bartender. He starts talking about a story between um, Ashley and her husband, and how when they were dating Jared, how they were dating, things just did not go well. Things did not look good. There was just a lot of drama going on between them. They just couldn't really get on the same page. But eventually they did. And they're married with, I believe they have one child. So they're married with children, basically. And people kind of take this story to heart because I think it gives them hope to think, hey, things may look rough right now, but things can get better. And just to keep putting yourself out there and you can recover on the show, basically. So Brandon and Serene finally have their date, and that was great. Um, things change for Logan and Shanae and Genevieve and Justin. So there was a lot of turn ups and turnouts and turnabouts and turnarounds. But people eventually find their footing. So Justin, who, he is on the show, but then he kind of makes a reappearance. He's on the show and then he kind of disappears and then he makes a reappearance on the show. Justin right here, he starts to things don't really go well between Genevieve and Justin. At one point, it got to the point where he felt disrespected by Genevieve because he kept having, she's an emotional, sensitive person, and he kept having to tell her to not raise her voice at her, and she gets worked up emotionally. Um, so that's a whole nother situation. But they pretty much did not work out. It just was not a good look for them. And actually, it kind of hurt um, her situation with Aaron as well, because they did go on doubles dates with Aaron and James. And if you don't remember who James is,
let's just look here. So James is right here. He was not on there very long. He went on a date with Shanae and who is it? I'm looking for I am looking for Genevieve. Genevieve and then Aaron. So I don't know why I'm not seeing Aaron, but oh, here's Aaron. So this, they were on those double dates together. And you would think, I really thought that Shanae was going to choose James, but she wind up not doing that. She wind up not doing that when she chose Logan. And I was thinking to myself, that's not a good look for her. I think if she chose James, she would have went further with him than she did with Logan. So anyway, um, but there was a point, and I didn't cover Bachelor in Paradise last season, but there was a point where things kind of hit the fan with Aaron, and he pretty much experienced the same thing with Genevieve, where he's looking from afar at his woman getting, making out or kissing another guy. And so it really struck him hard. And she wound up actually apologizing to him and saying, sorry, I, he said something weird like, do you want to kiss me on my birthday? And he and Michael really hit it off. And they were having these really kind of like good conversations, I feel. One of these things, I mean, at least it seemed like they were having good conversations. They were talking about the things that seemed to matter. Then he starts this spiral of, oh, everyone close to me I hurt because of what I've gone through, this, that, and the other, yada, 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 blah, 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 dot, 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 dot. And I'm like thinking to myself, it's almost like he's setting himself up to sabotage this scenario. Long story short, he basically does. Sierra buys him a star, a constellation, and so Sierra buys him a constellation, then it doesn't really wind up working out. It is something that really devastates her, and she winds up leaving. She literally goes. And I'm thinking to myself, why does he get to stay? I feel like this was the time when the women give the roses. Anyway, I have maybe I don't, I'm not gonna go back and watch that, but I think it was sad, and I think that you know Sierra left. That was his rose. He should have left. He clearly has some healing to do because she was all in it with him, and he chose not to reciprocate and create some scenario in his head. Um, and then he proceeded as time went on to say that he's looking for something serious and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you pretty much had that. If you were thinking this, he should have really told her so she could have an opportunity to be with someone else. I don't know why she decided to leave, but she did.